The Utah Jazz might be one of my favorite teams to watch. Actually, might be the favorite team to watch. In today's video, we'll be talking about why the Utah Jazz are championship contenders and why they are the scariest team in the NBA. So, want to hear those comments down below before we start today's video. So let's get into today's video. Why the Utah Jazz are championship contenders. Look, they don't have any huge superstars, big name guys like LeBron, with a little voice crack right there, Anthony Davis, Kawhi, guys like that. But this team is filled with elite role players around Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. We can't forget how great of a coach Quinn Snyder is. They probably have the best bench in the entire league. Their teamwork is unrivaled in my opinion. This team honestly feels like a mix of the 2014 Spurs and the 2015 Warriors. Rudy Gobert is so underrated because he's not flashy. He doesn't put up insane box score stats, but Rudy's impact is insane. It's really amazing what impact he makes. Just him being in the area makes a player second think their action, makes them feel like their shot is contested even though he's not even contesting it. It's incredible. Mike Conley said last year Quinn's system is extremely complex. It started with a particular player and a focus for a play with a second and third option depending on how the defense is set up. This is why they needed a true point guard in Mike Conley. Now Joe Ingles is moving the point off the bench. Mitchell can run the offense, but Quinn wants Donovan Mitchell and Clarkson to penetrate as the second option, with Bojan, Yang, and O'Neal as the kick-out option if the defense crashes on Donovan Mitchell. Scouting reports have shown that you have to crouch on Donovan Mitchell to stop him in the paint. By opening up that third option, defenses are always on their heel. Knowing each other's spots on that third option is what makes the difference, and why it takes a second season to understand the complexity of Quinn's system. It's not that the Jazz have gotten better at threes, it's that they've gotten better with Quinn's system. An example of how complex the system is with Derek Favors. Nobody realizes how much he's improved the Utah Jazz's second unit, especially on their defense, because Bradley and Ed Davis last year were completely useless, and the Jazz defense was horrible when Rudy would sub out. Having Favors back on defense dips a tiny bit, but he keeps the defensive presence throughout the game. Something people don't realize is that the reason Donovan Mitchell doesn't put up 7 to 10 assists per game is because of how the Jazz system is and how they play. If Donovan was used the same way James Harden and Luka are used, he could average 30 and 10 easily, I think, without a doubt in my mind. Though, my biggest worry with this team is relying on two legit stars and another guy that should still be considered as a star in Mike Conley. 4 other guys who are high-quality starter-level players and one of the best 6-man in the entire league. No team are better pound for pound in their top 8. The Lakers with their 2 superstars and their depth besides are almost tied with them though, which in truth is a better combination as a superstar or who they are because they can carry the payload of the team. Though the Jazz have had a top 5 offensive rating, top defensive rating at various times during the past 3 years. The problem is the lack of consistency. A big part of this is because they rely heavily on their top 3 players, which I said, Conley, Mitchell, and Gobert. The thing they can do to help them is establish an inside game, consistently play at the high level they are capable of, and Mitchell needs to perform at a superstar level consistently. They then will be championship contenders. Until they do that, they will be, I think, the 3 seed at most, a good playoff team. This is what I think will happen because Quinn Snyder is in love with the 3-ball, and I think they will become a championship contending team. Though I want to talk about a little theory one of my commenters put up there. The Jazz got a new owner last December. Ryan Smith, the new owner, bought the Jazz just last December. Maybe he could be successful, making the Jazz even better. And the reason I think he is he was a data and statistic guy who created and sold a tech company for $8 billion that helps improving other companies and businesses. So my commentator's theory is that he's probably channeling his skills and talents and personal resources into the Utah Jazz organization, giving them useful info and analysis that they didn't have before and unique resources probably that aren't available to other teams. Which, by the way, to whoever put that out there, great little comment, great little idea. So the Utah Jazz, if we just go top down, top to bottom, the roster, which I'm a huge Utah Jazz fan now. It's not that I never really followed them. I know who the Utah Jazz are. Let me take a little bit. I smoked a little bit of the ganja, so got a little bit of that camel breath. Tell me down below if you smoke the ganja. Allegedly, because I'm in Kansas, so I can't say I do. But anyway, so if we're looking, Bojan is coming around. I'll admit Bojan hasn't had the greatest start to a year, but they played through it. And in the sense that I think he hasn't had the best start of the year is, yes, he's shooting 37% from three, and he's shooting 37% from the floor, but it's really because he mainly just shoots the three-point ball. It's down. He has a down year compared to the past 2 years where he was an 18 and a 20-point game. He's literally a 20-point scorer last year. But the reason I think that is because he is now being asked not being one of the main scorers. They're just like, hey, you don't need to score as much. So he's still being a great option, and he's providing spacing on the floor and shooting so many three-pointers. It's like 10 a game at times. But they're really asking him to do a similar thing that Royce O'Neal does, to let Conley, Mitchell, and Clarkson be the main scorers, with Gobert being the other scorer. Joe Ingles is really a point forward. I didn't know that until my fans told me, and they show him, because Joe Ingles broke Kent Bazemore's ankles on a crossover the other day. That was insane. But he'll go out there, and he passes the rock real nice. I know it's only 4 assists. In prior years, it was 5 assists, 6 assists, and he's playing actually his least minutes since his second season or third season. So it's just he's playing less minutes, and he hasn't played as many games. Seems like injuries are protocol. I don't know why he hasn't played, but he had a 9-assist game against the Pelicans. So it's good to see that he's still being used as a point forward. It's just I think his role's diminishing. They're playing George Niang more. They're also playing a lot of the younger guys more. I think it's just because Snyder wants to filter in the young guys and filter out the old guys, I assume. And you got Mike Conley, who is a star. I think he's a top 30 player. He is a top 10 point guard, top 7, I'd say. I think there's 5 point guards above. I think he's number 7. I think he's the 7th best point guard in the league. And then you got Rudy Gobert, best center in the league. They paid him $205 million. Well worth it. Donovan Mitchell, if you haven't seen my video, I couldn't rant about Donovan Mitchell, but I made a video on him. So go check out the video. It's literally while you're subscribing to my channel, just go in there, go to my uploads. Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. You can check that one out. You'll like that one. And then you got my man Georges. Is it the Aboriginals? The abolitionist? Long story, I'm not going to go into detail. But, yeah, he's 34% for the year, but he's been a 40% for the past 2 years. I see that going back up. In the past couple games, he's been shooting better. But, hey, I like him, and I just love the spacing that he brings to this team. He's just one of those guys that they found. Really fun guy. I told you what Derek Favors has brought. He's fun. Someone tell me how to say this, guys. Maioni. The guy from Yale. I remember him in the pre-draft process. He was really fun to watch. Kind of not like an elite athlete, but he has some skills, and he hasn't shown much. But if you're a Utah Jazz fan, let me hear down below, what do you guys think of him? I always would love to read your guys' comments when it's fun. I go to Kansas, so I know all about Udoka Azubuike, best defensive player coming out of this year's draft class. You guys are gonna have to make a decision in year 4 to re-sign him, because he's gonna actually be so good. He's gonna be a 15-10 guy. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be dominant. You're never going to regret drafting him. He's going to be phenomenal, and he's my favorite player in the entire league. So good job with that. But, yeah, that's pretty much the video for me. I really do believe that they're championship